They didn't even try to investigate and ask any questions. They just automatically assume and shut them. That's crazy, right?
Mm-hmm. The challenges of talking to my kids about police brutality is they can't grasp it. We try to explain to them some of it is ignorance, but that's a very hard skill to teach a 7 and a 10-year-old.
Part of being a white parent, I wasn't entirely sure how to approach those discussions in such a young child. At what age do you explain racism to your Black child? At what age do you explain police brutality to your Black child?
In the wake of nationwide protests around Black Lives Matter, many parents find themselves confronted with a unique challenge. When asked about what happened, it's difficult for them to explain systemic racism and police brutality to their children. So a homeschool mom in Georgia decided to take it upon herself and offer a free online course about Black Lives Matter.
It is a course designed for children of all ages to understand why we are in this mindset of understanding why Black Lives Matter.
NBC News interviewed Sheva Quinn back in 2018 about Black homeschooling. Sheva has been homeschooling her 2 daughters for about 6 years because she wants them to learn deeper about Black culture and history. Sheva has a doctoral degree in education. She creates her own curriculum, including an in-depth course of Black history, which her online course is based upon.
When I initially opened up the course, the target audience was grades 4 through 12. But in reality, I had kids in there that was as young as 5 years old and adults.
She teaches the movement of Black Lives Matter through topics and historical figures that public schools don't often talk about.
How many of you guys remember Emmett Till?
From Emmett Till to Rodney King to John Lewis to Black Panthers, Sheva says about 500 people have signed up. As the pandemic rages on, many parents are looking at homeschooling their kids in the fall.
Her class is just opening up a totally different piece for my kids, and they're intrigued.
Tequila Menard says one of the benefits is learning Black history from a Black teacher. Her daughters go to public schools with mostly white teachers and white students, and because of that, something has been missing.
I think once they started school, they started to notice more that they're the only ones that look like them. It makes me angry, certain conversations that I have to have with my kids that other parents wouldn't even think of having. We've always had a conversation about sometimes you can be treated differently because of the color of your skin. We can't shield them from it because they're going to hear these conversations, whether it's from us or whether it's from social media or whether it's from their friends. But I want them to get it firsthand from us first.
And now parents who are not Black are seeking out this class, like Meg Brunson, who is a white mom and is sending 2 of her 4 children to Sheva's class. One of them is Black.
Raising children with 2 different races, so having a Black child and then having 3 white children, it's difficult for me to teach some of these issues as they relate to race. They'll ask me questions sometimes that I'm not quite comfortable answering because I don't have those experiences as a white woman.
How many of you guys watched the LA 92 documentary? How many of you guys watched that? What'd you guys think?
When the 4 white men weren't guilty, my mom said that they should have been guilty because Rodney King didn't go to jail, which means that he didn't do anything wrong.
When white people were calling us gorillas and animals, and then they went to trial, and then the Black people got mad.
And so why do our parents tell us that we can't play like animals?
If we act like animals, it'll just add on to what the white people think about
us.
Sheva's class aims to bridge the generation gap with grandparents, who tend to shy away from conversations about race.
One of the assignments I gave the students in class was to go back and ask your grandparents, how was it like when they went to school? Their grandparents were products of the 60s, 50s, and 60s. And even in that, many of the grandparents did not want to say that either they were uneducated, they went to school segregated, or they didn't have any schools in their community at all.
My mom never talked about race. When I was growing up, it was just, you just knew. You knew you were Black. You knew certain things you couldn't do. It was just like an unspoken, you knew. The conversations with my mom and my kids opened me up a little bit more to wanting to ask her more.
My grandma was fine. She cried a little bit because when she talks about like how she was little, she gets emotional. How it's not fair for Black people and that white people are treating us badly.
I really love understanding how the Black kids are being taught about racial issues because it's helping me figure out how to approach my own Black child. Dr. Quinn's class is clearly for the children, but I am learning so much from it.
For many parents, educating their kids on Black culture and history is a lifelong journey.
Black Lives Matter has always been important. It just has been presented to us in very different ways.
I feel that it's a daily struggle to protect them mentally when it comes to race relations. I feel it's a struggle every day to feel like my kids will be okay in the world without me. Especially now as a parent, you just feel like you want to shield them from everything, and you can't.
I hope the kids understand why their lives are important and just be able to hold their head up. Social injustice has to change.
Black history, whether it's a class like Dr. Quinn's or kind of reworking the American education system, we need that to happen because right now we're being taught just a small perspective on American history, and we're not getting the whole picture. And without the whole picture, that's what's prohibiting us from seeing the racial injustices that are happening.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here. And click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.